What's up, everybody? It's Lady J here, and I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some hacks, some tips. Maybe it's things that are obvious, but it works for me with braiding short hair. I recently, about a year ago, cut my hair into a bob, and so it's in different layers. And so I just wanted to show you how I do a firm foundation for my crochet braids. So I'm starting off with some small braids in the front because I'm going to put some curly hair in. I found that when you part from ear to ear, and then you're doing each individual braids in the front, parting from the back is your best way to go. Clips are your go-to. That's your best friend. That's going to keep all that hair away, because if you have little pieces of hair everywhere like I do, you want to be sure to have a clip to pull it all away when you're actually braiding. Add some moisturizer to each part. Not a whole lot, because you're going to make it very slippery. And then I'm adding some Gorilla Snot, or you can add some gel to actually the actual part section. Now, I only thought you did this if you were actually going to wear your braids out, but I found that when I'm doing crochet braids, adding the gel actually keeps all the hair together, and the ultimate goal is to ensure that you have a firm foundation when you are putting in your crochet braids, so that you can get the longest wear out of the crochet braids. So add the gel to the part area, and then you want to begin braiding. Now, when braiding, you want to keep your fingers as close as possible. This is not a video for teaching you how to braid, but keep your fingers as close as possible when you're braiding, so that you can, and make sure that you start from the edges and then work your way back. This is going to take some time. One of the things I've found is when I've done crochet braids in the past, I've rushed this part, and then I had to take the crochet braids out in like 2 weeks, not because the hair looked a mess, but because my foundation started to unloose. So you want to make sure that you are taking your time. My fingers were hurting me after braiding, short hair, but take your time doing this part, because then in the long run, you can wear it for a longer period of time. So as you can see, I've pulled up all the braids in the front that I just did. And this is my little hack, my little trick that I do with the foundation braid. I call that braid that you do from ear to ear. My little braid that covers up the back of the hair. So if you know anything about crochet, you know what I'm talking about. So what I'm doing now is I'm parting a very thin section of hair. I'm going to add this hair to the braids when I'm doing my cornrow across my head. And this is also going to help if I'm doing a half up, half down hairstyle. So I am parting a very thin area of my hair, because once again, I want to add it to those braids. When you have short hair, the issue is that while you're cornrowing your own hair, you'll end up running out of hair. And then you have nowhere to go from there. It's like, okay, there's nothing left in my hand to be braiding. So this little thin area or section of hair is going to help with that braid that's going across. And you want it to be thin, because if you put too much hair in that section, the top part is going to be bulky and it's just not going to be cute. So you want to make sure you do that. Grab your clips, of course, get all that hair out of the way so that you won't be parting different areas. As you can see in the back of my hair, it's very choppy because I had a layered bob. And so that's what makes it a little difficult to braid. So right here, I'm just thugging it. I look like Busta Rhymes. Is it Busta Rhymes? Busta Rhymes, Jen Jackson. One time. Okay, I'm back. So what I'm going to do now is, of course, I'm adding some moisturizer. Once again, not a whole lot, but enough to ensure that your hair is moisturized when you are braiding. So I'm adding that to the thin layer that I just parted out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to loose one of the braids. I sped up this part a little bit, but I'm loosening out one of the braids because that's where I'm going to start braiding, to braid the hair from one side to the other. So if my explanation is not as clear as you are seeing me doing it on the video, you'll probably be able to get a clearer understanding of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to begin braiding from ear to ear, and I'm going to start with that very first braid, and I am putting the braids that I just did, the individual cornrows that I just did, and I'm also adding the thin section that I parted so that I can have a neat braid going all the way across. So as I am braiding up, I'm adding each braid one by one into that one cornrow, so I can get one cornrow going across my head. This part, you want to definitely take your time doing it. You want it to be nice and tight. Do not rush this part. So if you need to take a break from when you first put the braids in and just rest your fingers a little bit, do that, because you want this foundational braid to be as tight as possible, and doing it slow helps it to be tighter. At least for me, it does. So as you can see, because my hair is short, I ran out of hair. So my little hack is I put a rubber band right in the section that I run out of hair, and I put a rubber band on that section. I just tie a rubber band, and then I'm going to continue braiding. So this is equivalent to adding, if you wanted to add some braiding hair into this cornrow, you could do that. I'm not the best with adding weave into my cornrows, so this is the reason why I use the method with the rubber band, and it works awesome when it comes to short hair. So I put the rubber band there, and now I just continue braiding until I run out of hair again. So there's no particular section or amount of braids that's needed before you put the rubber band in. I just put the rubber band based on if I run out of hair while I am braiding it. So again, I'm braiding the hair all the way down as flat as possible, because I'm getting ready to do a crochet style that requires that's the curly hair, and because it needs the fullness, I have to make sure that it's nice and flat and it looks great. Of course, I have a video coming up where I'll be reviewing the hair that I'll be putting in, because it is human hair, y'all. So it is a game changer. So make sure you stay tuned for that video that's coming really, really soon, because I am enjoying the hair that I've put in on top of this foundational, these cornrows that I'm doing right here. So as you can see here, I ran out of hair a little bit on one of the sections, so I'm adding a rubber band at that part, and then I'm going to continue to braid. Just tuck that little ponytail that I have there, tuck it into the next braid, and keep on going. Take it, split it in 3, and then I continue braiding to put the last braid in there. This is a great foundation for really any crochet style, but you know, some crochets really don't require all those braids in the front. And as you see, I did not take it all the way to the back, because I'm not going to put all those cornrows in the back of my head. It'll probably be like 7 of them that will be a little bigger in the back of the head. But you want it to be nice and flat. This will make a great sew-in foundation as well. So I braid all of that down. You see, I rested for a little bit because my fingers were cramped at this time. At this particular moment, my fingers were cramping. And I add a rubber band at the end of that braid. And there you go. As you can see, I've done a cornrow, included the thin section all across the top of my head, which I'm going to place some crochet braids there going to the back, and that's going to help me to cover the back area of my head. Now this part, I'm really not going into details, but I am just braiding my hair going straight back, and I am going to use, you're going to see in a few seconds, I am going to use the same method with the rubber band, because as I am braiding, as I said, some areas in the back of my head is shorter than other areas. So while I'm cornrowing the hair, sometimes I run out of hair while cornrowing. And so the rubber band method works great with that, because as soon as I'm about to run out, I put a rubber band on it and then I keep on braiding. So as you can see, I tucked that braid in there. Do you see the areas? If you look closely, you can see the areas that I have the cornrows throughout the rubber bands throughout the cornrows to keep it stable and going. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure that you check out my video about this lovely hair. Y'all, it's human crochet hair. This is the game changer. They're taking it to a whole nother level. So stay tuned for that video, because I'm going to be doing a review of this Ultima collagen protein hair, and I want to definitely make sure you're a part of it. I'll see you in the next video.